Okay. Okay. I apologize, everybody. My camera is sideways right now, and I didn't get on with enough time to realize that would happen, and I don't actually know how to switch it right now. That I could do it this moment. So we'll just go because we're already 3 minutes late here. I wanted to share with you an idea having to do with Shmira Shabbos related to what's going on now. Because I got confused here with this. If there's a way you can help me share screen, that would be great. If you can let me share the screen, maybe that'll help this problem also. Okay, let me know if you can do that and when I can do it. Okay, great. Maybe that'll help this problem also. Okay. Basically, I'm just going to share the whole screen. I apologize about that, but it's just easier this way. Okay. We have here a Gemara, a famous Gemara in Shabbos. And the Gemara says that that we have. I wanted to use the annotate button. I guess your Zoom is different than mine, so I don't see where my things are here. Okay, whatever. I'll do without it. Yeah, this is a different version of Zoom that I have. Okay. Anyway, take a look at the screen here. So the Gemara says, anybody who fulfills the mitzvah of keeping the 3 meals, of eating the 3 meals on Shabbos, is saved from 3 different punishments. See, the translation is on the bottom here. You can see you have the little pen there. You can follow a little bit. From the pangs of the Messiah, meaning the suffering that comes right before Mashiach comes. Vidina shel Gehenna, from the judgment of Gehenna. And from the war of Gog and Magog, which also comes at some point, probably before Mashiach comes, though that's a bit of a machlokas. And the Gemara explains why. So we have this idea here that if you're careful to eat the 3 meals, the sudas of Shabbos, then you're going to be able to be saved from these 3 different cases of times of suffering and punishment. So the question is why? What's the connection here between eating meals on Shabbos and all these terrible times of suffering for the Jewish people? So the Maharsha answers that the idea here is as follows. Okay, I switch now to the Maharsha. See, the Maharsha says the following. He says, if you follow the arrow, he says, you'll be saved from the birth pangs of Mashiach, the time before Mashiach, and you'll be able to merit to the day that he comes. Why? You're going to be saved from these 3 different times of tzara. Because after these 3 periods at different times, maybe in history, but basically Gehinnom, the Chevlo, the birth pangs of Mashiach, and Gog and Magog. After that comes the days of rest and the menucha and tranquility for the tzaddikim, for the righteous. Asher Shabbos mora alim, which Shabbos demonstrates or indicates to us what's going to happen in the future. Meaning that Shabbos is like a prototype for these 3 the times afterwards, which would be the days of Mashiach and maybe Olam Haba. Therefore, somebody who keeps Shabbos and enjoys Shabbos properly, with the 3 meals, then it'll be appropriate for him that these days of these times of distress, will be times for him of menucha, of rest and peace. There won't be any tzara afterwards. So Maharsha is basically saying, because you keep Shabbos properly and you eat the meals on Shabbos, therefore, because you have menucha and oneg and resting on Shabbos, therefore you'll be saved, because the time of Shabbos is the prototype for the time of Yemos Mashiach and Olam Haba. So the suffering that comes before that, you'll be saved. Question is still why? Why, according to the Maharsha, is there a connection here? So there's a few different ways you can explain this. The way that I thought, this is my own explanation, that I thought perhaps you can explain it, is that the idea of Shabbos and the Seudos is as follows. The idea of the Seudos is that you take the physical pleasure of the Seuda, of eating and drinking and the physical, and you look past it and you say the physical of Shabbos is not only about the physical. There's a bigger picture here. The bigger picture is the spirituality and the getting close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The physical is a very important part of that, because we have to learn how to take the physical and build on it to get to the spiritual. But the point is that if you look at the big picture, you're not just eating to have a good time. You're not having Oneg Shabbos because you want to, physically just to enjoy and, get drunk and get stuffed. The point is to get yourself to an end goal of a closer connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I thought that perhaps it's the same idea here, that if you have that perspective on Shabbos, if you understand why you're enjoying the meals on Shabbos, So then the idea of the punishment and the difficult days before the times of Mashiach and Olam Haba make perfect sense, because you understand that the whole point, that the goal of getting through these challenges and the difficult times is that we need to go through them for whichever reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides, in order to get to the world which is the true world, Olam Haba, and hopefully Yemos HaMashiach. So if you look at, again, the times of difficulty beforehand with the same perspective as the Sudas of Shabbos, then you'll appreciate where it's going and what the end goal is. And therefore, you can be saved from some of the difficulties along the way because you understand what its purpose is. So I thought that that's, again, what's happening today is something which has been difficult for all of us. But we hope that maybe we can check off at least one of these boxes here, that at least this is the Chavle Mashiach. We're somewhere along the way of the birth pangs of Mashiach. I don't know exactly which stage, but somewhere along the way. Some have even suggested maybe this is part of the war of Gog and Magog. That I have no idea. I don't know anything about that. We won't go into that now. But the point is that at least one of these three times of tzara that the Gemara mentions here is something which we may be going through right now. So perhaps this perspective of eating on Shabbos and the Sudas of Shabbos can help us a lot. If we look at the time that we're going through now as a difficult time, but we understand there's an end goal. There is an end to the there's a purpose to this whole thing. And if we're able to maintain a wider, a broader outlook on what's happening and know that the good is to come afterwards, even though this is all difficult, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this in some way for our betterment, then we can appreciate what's happening. We can get through it in a much easier fashion, hopefully with much less tzara. And the way to do that is to enjoy our Sudas on Shabbos. So the message here is to take your Sudas on Shabbos. Take Shabbos is a special time, and to use the time on Shabbos properly to enjoy the Sudas, but to realize that the Sudas, the physical, is moving us towards the spiritual, and to have in mind that when you have your Suda, as well as when you sing your Zmiros, Rabbi Yisrael Najara wrote the piyut of Kari Bon, one of the Zmiros for Friday night. Rabbi Yisrael Najara was, in his later years, he was the Rav of Aza, and he's apparently buried there. So you have a special kavanah when you sing Kari Bon. Some of the words in Kari Bon that the Rabbi Yisrael Najara, who's the Rav in Aza, can use some of his whatever spiritual koach he has there to protect our chayalim and get the captives out. And Mizrah Hashem, in that merit and the merit of our keeping Shabbos properly and everything else that we do, we should be Zechut to a lot of Yeshua, a lot of salvation, and to be able to indeed get to the point of the Yemos Mashiach and Olam Haba, especially Yemos Mashiach right now. Thank you.
Yeshikoch, thank you very much. Same time, same place, everybody, tomorrow night. Thank you very much, Rabbi.